Okay, hello internet world. This is the Dear Man speaking. I said I was gonna do a speed run, so I'm gonna do a speed run of these stories. Okay, let me close this window. It's making me self-conscious. Oh, wait, might be out there. Alright, man. Let's start this bullshit. Let's see how much I can read before time is up. Alright, God, I don't even know how to start. I'll just do random fucking shit from each thing. They didn't have Zeus backing their ass up. Good fortune follows those who Zeus makes it happen for, which I think is exactly what Hera or Thetis wanted to say at the end, but just didn't. Or Athena, since he pissed her off too. Zeus is totally the Illuminati, or if not them, then some other higher power, literally. In the beginning, the king throws the mom, Danae or something is her name, and Perseus in the ocean for her crimes, quote unquote. No one ever says what the crimes are, but I think we can all assume they're referring to her fucking Zeus. They say he came to her in a shower of gold, and then, like, bam, pregnant. Shower of gold. You mean like a fatty-ass paycheck she got for fucking around with a top-secret government sect helping to create a super soldier that will be highly instrumental in flipping all life around as we know it? I rest my case. Her dad, Arceus or something like that, thinks that he's getting rid of his treacherous secret agent daughter, and her WMD baby will save his kingdom, but he should have known better. Okay, that's enough of that shit. I don't think I can do anymore. I don't think Perseus has any idea what's going on. His brain is totally empty. All he knows is just to go out in the world and kill. Anyway. Oh man, that's longer than I thought. What is this? Femboy? Oh, okay. Here's some other weird shit. Cut back to the guy puking hella loud, ratchetly. Femboy. Okay, it's a shithole. My name is Dimitri. Mita for short. This is Dima and Volya in a comedy version of that same shit, so don't even ask. I don't want to be called femboy in the script anymore. It's embarrassing. I mean, there's more to who I am than that, you know what I mean? Anyway, pan back over to the other guy, Mita. That's my best friend, Volya. He's the bravest soldier I know. He loves kicking ass, and I know he wants nothing more than to die with glory on the battlefield, charging some machine guns or something. But I couldn't let that happen. That's why I poisoned us both. Sudden discord thing on the piano, you know, like when someone just slams their hand down on the keys. Volya looks over. You did what? Mita, finally speaking out loud. Oh, excuse me. Those are my inner thoughts. You're not supposed to be able to hear them. Volya, fuck that. You poisoned me? He turns to throw up out the window again. You son of a bitch. Mita weakly sits up a little bit. But don't you see? You were going to be a big war hero and die on the battlefield, and let's be honest, I was probably just going to get captured and slowly raped to death. Volya sighs. Yeah, I can see that. Mita, we'd be separated. I couldn't just let that happen. I couldn't let you go. Okay, enough of that one. This is some fucked up shit. Oh, this is a good one. After seeing the cabinet of Dr. Caligari again, it makes me think that much more that, among other things, the movie is a critique of homophobia. At the end of the movie, when you see all the characters come back as people in the crazy house, you can see Cesare with long hair and a flower, which I never thought about it before, but then I realized maybe he's supposed to be gay. They never say why anyone else is in the crazy house, but they show, like, the lady who thinks her doll is a baby, and the lady who plays piano, which isn't there, the crazy guy yelling, etc. Cesare is just standing by the wall being calm. The movie was made in like 1919 or something, and I think it's supposed to take place even earlier, so you could definitely be called crazy and locked up just for being gay back then. Anyway, as for the rest of the movie, Caligari comes to town and brings his sleepwalker, and they live together in a little cabin. That's the first sign of possible homosexualism to me. Two guys living together, but they're not like a regular couple. Caligari is way older, and Cesare is just like his rag doll. Caligari keeps Cesare locked up in a closet, underlined, although they call it a cabinet, and it really looks more like a coffin, whatever. At the fair, Cesare comes out of the closet in front of everyone to freak them out. At first, Caligari takes advantage of this. He enters them in the freak show to make some cash, but this backfires on him when everyone in the town suspects him of murder. Caligari treats Cesare like a kid, which I guess he is in a way, since he spends all the time sleeping and still has a sort of childlike mind, although he is supposedly psychic. They have a weird dom-sub relationship, but do they really, or is that just in the minds of the townspeople? When they're alone in the cabin and Caligari is feeding Cesare gruel in the box, maybe that is actually only what the town people imagine. They're like, look at these guys, I bet they do some weird fucked up shit when they're alone together. Also, even though Cesare isn't dead, and they call him Sleepwalker. He's basically a zombie, the old school sugar plantation kind, and zombies like that are known to be slaves who don't have any other will except to obey their masters. Okay. Let me see. Homophobics, almost always believe things about gay people which aren't true, which just make them more afraid and bigoted. In the movie, I see Francis's fears as being generated by his homophobia. He doesn't believe that two men could simply live a nice, normal romance together, so he imagined them to have a fucked up, kinky, weird, even bordering on non-consensual pedophilic type of thing. Just like today, he has a kind of there goes the neighborhood idea about gays coming to town, them killing everyone. I don't take to be literally killing, but more like they're corrupting the town with sin just by being there. They target men as their victims, just how modern homophobics fear that gay people are somehow sexually charged at all times and will walk around just trying to rape anyone of the same sex. Caligari has no morals, and he does whatever he wants. The slightest conflict, like with the clerk, he'll stick his sleepwalker on you, which is another fear of homophobics. They worry that gay people have no morals, no sense of normalcy, and that they're just wild, crazy people who constantly act sinful and animalistic. Because of his fears, Francis is oblivious to his own issues. He and Alan both want to be with Jane, but they're best friends. They say that it won't hurt their friendship, but will it? Francis imagined Alan to be killed by Cesare, basically for no reason. But if that was all in his head, then who was the real killer? Okay, that's enough of that one. Alright, what's this here? He shrugged at me and answered, not bad, while ringing me up. Goddamn, he does look good in an apron. I got no idea why his uniform includes an apron over the green-collared shirt he wears, but I ain't complaining. This shirt only has sleeves down to the elbows, and when he moves the groceries around, I can see the thin muscle just under the skin. The green blood pressing up against his veins from the inside, the bone of his wrist and knuckles, and the other ones running down the backs of his hands. Jesus Christ, he is so alive. Makes me want to just take him home. Bring him onto my mattress, and I don't mean anything sexy in that. I only say mattress because my mattress is the only soft place in the apartment, and I would want for him to be comfortable. Sitting on top of the blankets. Me, in my everyday clothes, including shoes. Him in his work uniform. Cozy, sleepy, maybe drugged. I hear him telling me the price, but I don't hear the exact numbers. They just snapped me out of it. I was thinking to myself, good God, if you could see inside my thoughts, I'd think we both want to die. What was that? I gave him money and took the bag, and then it was my time to get out of there. I don't have nothing else to say to him. Just have a nice one or whatever. Then I was out of them. Let me see. Shit, something's happening outside. I hear sirens. There are sirens in the air. From what direction, they don't know, but the sound grows closer. More and more menacing and oppressive as it goes on. Velo, I think it's Velo. Sticky arm prickled tensely. He didn't want to be like this. He wanted to relax, but how can he with all this racket outside? Something's going on. Oh God, something's going on. Someone's hurt, or suffering, or dying, or wishing they were dead. Velo. It's V-E-L-O, so, you know. Velo grabs Benny by the wrist and pushes the other man's arm off from around him so that he can get away. He can't stand to have anyone touch him, not with those sirens outside, and they're not fading, they're not leaving, they're loud as ever, and they're chirping. That means that whatever is there has stopped. The trouble isn't somewhere else, the trouble has stopped right outside his home. Velo ran away from Benny, only a few feet, but he still ran. He scrambled down near the stove, pressing his back up against it, tangling his long fingers in his damp, sweaty hair, and gritting his teeth. God damn, mother God, Velo barked out in desperation. He pulled hard around his hair, anything to distract him from the nightmare outside. He could hear no screams or cries except his own, but that didn't stop him from imagining what horrible things. His shouting crossed from English to Italian. I guess he's Italian. And his voice cracked violently. That's a weird fucking, story. I don't even remember writing this. Oh shit. I better move on. Freezy, what's going on? Freezy, is that another Italian? She looked up sharply, with a sudden tapping of sound of cries and breath, which balled up into a low, gasping growl. She stared back at him, her red eyes were soaking and shining in the light of the house. Her mouth was pulled back into a desperate, lost grimace. By now, Sochi was shaking himself. He could hear another sound, a screaming from Siam, from the kitchen, with a kind of scything anger he had never heard from her before. Get out, Freezy was trying to hiss, but it came out as a shaken, gritted moan through her teeth with her scrambled voice. Freezy, so she whispered to her. He was clutching the stair banister with both hands, with white knuckles, the bones pressing tight against the skin from underneath, as she was wringing her skirt and shirt with a horrified strangling. What's going on? Where's Ma? Where's... They're dead, she screamed back at him. They're dead, don't you understand anything? And then her eyes were shut again as she rocked in place with the tears streaming down. They're dead, get out of here, Sochi, get out of here. Oh god, this is like Midsummer. Hey, Sochi froze. Are you mad? The man chuckled, an old, skinny, and abnormally tall man with a bald head and a short white beard. Hearing Sochi's voice, he now knew the teen was a boy. Seeing him only from behind with the long hair, he had little doubt. No, I'm not mad. What are you doing to my store? Sochi was already halfway onto the open window with the sill cutting into his belly. He wriggled awkwardly to have his shoes once again touch the lid of the dumpster, and then could bring his hands up and push back out of the open window. Sorry, the boy mumbled, not looking the old man straight on. Okay, let's get rid of that one. What is this right here? Man, if you want it so bad, why don't you ask them to take you along? Peyton blurted out, exasperated. They'd double up in a second, not even thinking about it. They know you ain't been in a while. Gene shook his head hard. No, it ain't the goddamn same, you get me? Russell don't need to ask. Jeff and Todd don't need to ask. It's a fucking riot. If I asked to go, you know what? They say I'm fucking crazy or they laugh their asses off or both. Whatever, Peyton threw up his hands. All these names in this story are kind of, like, cute. Gene, Russell, Seth, Todd, and Peyton. That sounds like a band, like a boy band. He turned his head to look back over at Jack. Hey Jackie, is that the same Jack from Freak Farm or whatever? What do you want to do tonight? Want to hit the bar? Let's see JFK, huh? Let's see JFK. Spend some time over there, players. No thanks, Jack answered with a shake of his head. Joe don't like me anymore. She said for me to never show, I don't know what that is. Is this supposed to go the other way? I don't know which way this is supposed to go. Oh, I think it's two different things. What else is there? It's working. Hey, it's working. I can feel it slipping. Come on. Just a little bit more and it'll be over my knuckle. I can pull it off. Oh, he's got like a bracelet stuck on or something. I shouldn't have been so dumb. I should have thought ahead for once. But of course, when this thing pops off my hand, it shoots spring-loaded into the back of my throat. Oh, I remember this. He was trying to pull a ring off his finger. You ever wear a ring on your finger and it's too tight? And you try to take it off? And he tried to take it off with his teeth and then it went down his throat. Or not, I don't think it went down his throat, but it went in his mouth. Oh yeah, it started choking him, he said. Neil, before I know it, Neil's hands around my waist. They're a little higher than that. I know he's gonna do, but I'm still not ready for it. When he pounds his fist to my stomach with all the weight behind it, seems like 1, 2, 3 back to back. He almost jolts me off my feet. And John's little promise ring bounces out of my mouth and off somewhere in the piles of junk. I'll never find it again. I don't even look for it. I just try and catch my breath. That's fucking funny. He did a Heimlich on him. From a few hours away, he looks alright, better than last night anyway. He's not lying down anymore. He can sit up even though his hands are... Oh, this is when they bury that guy alive. Let me see. He's undead, walking dead. You can call it voodoo if you want. I didn't exactly do everything the original way, though. But it still works, right? Doesn't it? I think my mouth about fell open. Walking dead. He's cold, isn't he? He can't be. Oh, come on, he spits out, exasperated. Save yourself the time. You didn't believe me at first either, but I proved you wrong, didn't I? I didn't say anything up against that. Neil crosses over to John. He runs a hand roughly through his hair. John looks up at him, the most alive I've seen him since yesterday at the park. He makes a little groan like he's half a growl. He snaps at Neil's hand, and Neil only has to take a step back to avoid it. What fun and games. Come on, Cherry. We're not quite finished. Where's the part where they bury the dude alive? I don't think I'll find it again. Whatever. This is the last part. Hey, Gavin. I snap out of it. Yeah, he makes that motion with his head, as if for me to follow him. He grins a tiny bit. Let's go. His wings flutter under his jacket. I stand. Back at the house, I'm on the couch by myself. Oh, right. This guy is a mosquito. Like a were mosquito or something? I don't know. That's why he has wings. And then he got between these two guys' relationship and fucked it all up. Turned one of them into a zombie and then they buried him alive. That's what happened. Alright. I really want to find the part where they buried him, actually. Let me see. Place. I drop it where he does. It's the perfect length to go across the floor of the big hole. It'll cover the little hole for sure. We dropped the second one. He peeks out at us from the right side, gray-eyed, pale as bones. Me moving like a sleepwalker, but I swear that in the last few moments, it wasn't just pointless little moans he was doing. He was really trying hard to speak. He was trying to tell me something, maybe. We dropped the last plank. Neil shovels in the dirt. I'm sitting nearby on the ground and think how cold it's suddenly gotten. I wonder how cold it'll be in St. Louis. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. The closest I can get is in pet stores where they're behind glass and are curled and cuddled up in their pine shavings. Then I'll stare for a while and look at the fascination of how their horrible little bodies are put together. But as soon as someone takes me out of the cage, takes one out of the cage, I'm gone. A lot of people get made to face horrible things, but they don't consider them intolerable. And a lot of people have intolerable fears that don't get made to face them. But every once in a while, the two come together. I've heard these stories in a little bar at 11 at night to the side of underneath the 16 overpass. The stories alone should be considered intolerable, and once I'm good and dead and staring off into space, this girl tries to shrug it off and says, well, I was 15 then, I'm over it now. Once I've vomited out all these words, how could a person ever live through something like that? How could this even be allowed? Even as fucked up as our country and our world is, how could that be allowed? That crosses a line when a person is screaming and fighting and sobbing with fear. Then she says to me, hey bub, I'm glad it happened, I'm over it. Well, I'm not. I'll tell you a secret. For 4 months afterward, I walked and worked like a zombie. I didn't have my virginity anymore. You know, that certain amount of virginity that faith in the world gives you. You wouldn't think that stuff is important, but I guess it is. You realize that when all in one night you get it suddenly ripped away from you. Well, maybe you don't, but I do. It wouldn't be as bad as I think it wasn't images that her words had pounded into my head. Things I've never even seen but wish I could imagine well enough. Her words flashed back to me in the cold, calculating way she formed her sentences. 4 months, give or take, before my good thoughts could get back into my head, before those flashbacks didn't fill my head 24 hours a day, but the bad ones weren't gone. They still there to this day, keeping me up at night, knowing that same exact story could be my best friend next or my baby sister, no matter she's only 10. Alright. Next story. What are you looking at me like that for? His voice sort of startled me, and I looked into his eyes to try and be polite. I was lucky. I don't blush too easily. The expression on his face was just as bleak as his voice. I was just daydreaming. You want to have sex with me? The question was so unexpected it knocked the air out of me like a punch to the stomach, and I couldn't say anything. Words don't come to me all that easy anyway, but I didn't have to, he added on. That's why you brought me here, isn't it? No, I said back more sharply than I meant. I didn't. I told you last night no. Blackfoot gave a laugh, so lifeless it was chilling, and there was a sort of glassiness in his eyes. I know you said that, doesn't mean you meant it. Well, I did mean it, alright. He took a small half step forward. A tiny part of me said to back away, even though there wasn't anywhere to go, but the rest of me wanted to hold him, completely enchanted, well, almost. Come on, I could use the money. Gotta look for a new job. Why don't you just stay here? And do what, huh? He looked me up and down, sort of briskly, and back to my face. This is your house, and I ain't a housewife. I don't know what it was, but suddenly the idea just came to me. It was crazy, but I knew as soon as I got it that I would do it anyway. Alright, listen up, I said to him in a lower voice than I've been talking. Stay here, go, I don't care. That was a total lie. Alright, next story. Oh, never, this is a fucked up story. Foley reached over and smeared a wider view on the window. Emmy crawled closer, and the both of them stared out. As they watched in one of the upper windows, emotion caught their eyes. Blurry or not, they watched, captivated and fear-struck. Someone who they could only see in a silhouette was walking backward across the view of an open window. Then came the second figure, advancing upon them. Oh, this is some Alfred Hitchcock shit. Where are we? Emmy whispered, thinking out loud. He began to tilt his head, looking up and down the block as best he could from inside the car, but Foley's eyes never left the window. Both the figures disappeared behind the wall. Go, Foley whispered then urgently to his roommate, and again gave him a quick nudge with his bony hand. Get out the other side. Emmy turned quickly, although maybe still slower than Foley would have liked. He rattled the doorknob and unlocked, and shoved it open, struck by a sudden rush of cold air from the outside. There you go. This one's pretty long. Let me get some of the... Oh, there's a lot of blank pages. Okay. Chow was quiet again. Again he tried to move his head and peek out. Again he found he could not. The man gave a heavy sigh, fearful but fighting not to show it. He answered slowly. Fine, go ahead. Do whatever it is. Moki shifted on his feet. After all this, he was hesitating a moment, but before either Chow or Vea could tell him to hurry, He was stepping closer. Bea could see as he watched the little man make a sign across his chest. He touched first the left side, chest to his forehead, the other side of his chest, and then from shoulder to shoulder. It was so rapid, like a movement burned into him from childhood. Okay, I think that was a sign of the cross, I'm assuming, so. Oh yeah, where's this shit right now? This is funny. Where was it? This is talking about It, the movie It. If I was an abused child or even a non-abused child, being abused just makes it worse. There's no way in hell I'm gonna lay down and open my virgin pussy at the age of like 12 to 6 fucking boys running a train on me. Fuck that, pun intended. I don't give a goddamn if there is a killer clown from hell coming to kill us all. It ain't fucking happening. Especially if I've been abused or molested like in the new movie where apparently the dad is now sexually abusive like in The Butterfly Effect. Isn't that fucking nice? I mean, when does the shower of shit stop pouring down on this girl? Why, Stephen King, why? You have failed in this category. The whole excuse about them having to lose their virginity because the clown only targets virgins. I'm not buying it. You know what I say to that? Turn some of those boys into bottoms and make them take a hit for the team up the ass and have a true orgy. Or just have more girl characters. Why only one, huh, Stephen? Or I would even be okay with her fucking all the boys if it was spaced out. One per day with recovery time in between, not all at once. Some people might make the excuse like, oh, because their friendship was so deep and epic, and they had so much trust, the boys were all gentle and loving, and it was actually the best sex ever. And if you believe that, then my legal name is Pennywise the Clown. Me and the girl sucks, abused by her dad, and in the new movie, possibly raped by him, raped by all her friends, and then abused and probably raped by her boyfriend. I mean, clearly this girl is the strongest character by far, that she suffered so much pain and use, and doesn't kill herself. Okay. Here's a song right here. Born to pull like a mule, put under pressure by those who rule. He was never really spoken to. He was never really loved. He doesn't have to be a man. He can be anyone. The fairer people, they can speak emotions, but he will be silent under threat of such devotion. All your pride, your last reserve self-respect, that's all they're asking for. Complete humiliation, nothing more. Now they curse him in the street. They call fire from above. He did all he could to hide the dark. He was never really loved. Always asked for more. Never told he's good enough. Okay. How much time do I have? Oh, okay. I gotta rip through these, man. I'm trying to do it in under 30 minutes. What is this right here? What you come for, I answered, and I pulled him up to me to kiss again. He was scared now. I could feel him shaking and see it on him. For a split second, I felt sorry for him, but it was replaced with satisfaction. No, no, please. His voice just got more slurred as he struggled frantically to spit out his words fast enough. He was fighting with his body too, but I was stronger than him. I was always stronger. Why had I ever let him dominate me? Without that white rabbit's acid tongue, he had nothing. Please, I just wanted to talk. Talk about what? I snarled. Your fucking painting? You want to tell me what you hate about me? Fuck you. Why don't you get out of here? Let me go. Too late. I shoved him backwards. He fell on his side on the floor, looking up with wide brown eyes, and for a second again I felt bad for him, but I couldn't remember why. I thought he was so innocent. So I pushed that out of my mind. Fuck you, Cerny. I'm not Cerny, that's not my name. He sounded like he was about to lose his voice. You're crazy, you're crazy. And then something weird happened. I saw him for a moment differently. This tall, still a skinny buck with white fur and a black stripe down his back, but not anyone I recognized. Casual stranger. And then things went back to normal and I saw my man. Okay. Vanilla Town. This one is called. I don't remember shit about what this is. Oh, it's got a lot of empty space too. She was only half paying attention as she walked by his side, looking mostly around at the streets. All the low houses, the brown and yellow grass, broken by green bushes and trees now and then. The high afternoon sun cast everything in its brightest possible color, and the cloudless sky, solid blue, brighter than Faye's own eyes, was beautiful to her against the brown, gray, white, yellow, and orange earthy tones of the neighborhood. Faye! Her father's sudden bark made her jump and look up at him wide-eyed. He laughed playfully at her reaction. Living in your head again, huh? Maybe. The girl smiled coyly, playing back. Why the girl? He shoved her not hard, but enough to make her stumble, and as soon as Faye regained her balance, she shoved him back, though of course she couldn't move him. Oh, I remember this. This is the one of that weird story about that girl and her dad, and then the brother runs away or some shit. Okay. Tessie and Zuzu. From her accent and slightly broken language, they could tell she was from the South, maybe even so far south as to be a foreigner, but that detail was hard to tell. It didn't matter. Most people, and they were mostly girls, who walked in the discotheques were no different than her. Her light brown hair was pulled back into a bun to make her look older, but she was probably still only in her teens. Her eyes were large and brown, but darker than her hair. The black and red uniform, the petticoat skirt fanned out around her hips and thighs. The stockings were striped horizontally. The imitation corset cramped her chest together and upwards to make it appear she had a lot. but underneath all that she was probably skinny. Hey, Danny, one of the other guys said with a hint of a laugh. Go on, Danny, convince her. Like the ankle bone of a dancer, of a worker, which is stressed upon day after day, sometimes more, sometimes so little, swiftly, they don't notice the strain. They make light of it, always saying could be worse. Sometimes the strain comes in the form of fast, unexpected twists, or sometimes from a foreseen, long, burdening weight that the person is just too confident they can handle. One way or another, come on, bones, hold me up. Here comes a heavy weight, heave-ho, until suddenly under those pounds the bone cracks, splits, and two edges of the break grind against each other like a fault line, crushing the edges to shrapnel. Oh god, that's fucking nasty. Oh my god. Did you see that? This Ziploc thing that you used to slide the thing open just broke off. Let me get it. I want to see helicopter. Alright, what page am I going to get from here? I didn't feel cold. The main thing I felt was that cut, but oh well. After a little more poking and pressing, the thingy filled up. Joe was satisfied enough. He took the tourniquet off. Oh god, this is like the worst part. And capped the vial to stuff in his pocket along with the razor. Get in the car, said Pat, already shoving me off the hood. I wanted to say, aren't you going to let me go now? But you can't say stuff like that. It's too rude, so I just settled for stating the obvious. I'm bleeding. Of course you are, said Joe. We just cut you open. Do you have a Band-Aid I can borrow? I said I was trying to sound really polite, but for the record, I wasn't really going to borrow it. I was going to use it and not give it back. That's funny. Apparently Officer Pat sensed that because he suddenly got all mad. What do you think we carry around a fucking first aid kit? Put some pressure on it with your hand. This should stop. I did like he said, and he shoved me in the back of his car. Joe, this is some police brutality, I suppose. Joe got in next to me, and Pat got in the driver's seat and started driving. Alright, said Joe, get out of those clothes and get on your hands and knees. Oh, God. My clothes, I took my hand off my arm and started to pull off my shirt, and he burst into laughter. I just sort of stared at him. You really bought that, huh? He said, grinning at me. I noticed that his grin was really big and kind of creepy, but maybe it was my imagination. You thought I was going to take advantage of you or some shit, huh? What kind of police force do you think we run here anyway? We're not cruel people. Oh, here. That's kind of funny and fucked up. Oh my god, 3 minutes. Okay. This is famous. That story I wanted to read how long ago, but no, fuck it, I'm only going to read like a page. Jackie was the one to make the first move, and something to me. I was way too shy of her to say anything. Wouldn't say I was scared of her, but she just seemed too good for me or something. Like I didn't have a right to say anything because she just looked so famous. But as soon as I realized that wasn't the way she saw herself, we got pretty warm to each other. She's a great person to talk to, Jackie, even if we're just talking about shit. I realize I use the name Jack a lot. We're a funny-looking pair of security. She looks like she could either be a fashion show or a freak show. And then there's me. I'm a little bit shorter than her, but only an inch or two, and I'm a little stockier, but guys usually are. Heavier than girls, I mean. Well, for a guy, I'm pretty slim, and if I've got my shirt off, you can see my... Oh, my God. I don't want to hear this description of him. So I got my face out there once in a while, and I've gotten some compliments now and then, like, once in a blue moon, someone will say something like, that was great, you ought to be in a magazine, and even though I'm pretty sure they say that to every dancer, it still feels good. Oh my god, it's so boring. I sort of, if I was famous thing, and my character's name was Beatrix, yeah, well, he was still a guy, but having a girl's name, an old lady's name, really gave him the sort of weirdness that seemed to go along with fame, and he dressed in my mind in the cropped t-shirts, low-hit Daisy Dukes, all that jazz. God, where's the good part? Okay, 2 minutes. Oh, this story, I kind of like this one. I might want to keep that one. I'll keep that one for later. That one has a sentimental value. Oh my god, 1 minute left. Alright, Year of the Dragon. Nah, I don't want to read that one. Well, oh, another thing was Volya and Mita. I think I'll pass. Here, put all this shit in the pile. Where's that fucking, there was a funny thing I had that was like, it was about Indiana Jones. Maybe it's not in this pile. Maybe it's in another pile. Okay, Peyton, shake it off, shake it off. Damn, this is hard work. Well, next, Chatty and Tix. Those are strong men. Those big, ashy jointed, rough hands, rough stubble, thick, stocky, tall, blonde, and black-haired guys. Every time I open a page, it's a fucking description. Out from behind Cheryl, Shelley steps up quietly. Kay separates the top sheet of paper from the rest of the pile and hands it to him. You got Davenport Street this time. Here, know what I suggest? Head along Avenue 30. That's the straightest way. Then the other place is on there. Get him on the way back. It's probably easier than trying to cut through. I know Davin's far. And Shelley nods quietly. You understand that, right? Yeah, he answers through his quiet voice and thick accent. Davenport, yes. He looks down at the sheet in his hand, squinting at it, reading carefully. Toyland and Greenside District. Sometimes, though, I can switch both sets to the real-life channel at the same time, and that's pretty nice. That's what I call calm. Alright, 30 minutes, that's all I got for my speed run. I'm going to read that other one, because that one has sentimental value to me. That one's interesting. So,